Okay. Well, this passage from 44 to 45 is within the context of Clarissa. This is during the party planning, and she was just previously talking to the servants. Peter, having not seen Clarissa for over 30 years, visits Clarissa surprisingly, and Clarissa, the previous relationship between Peter and Clarissa, they used to be lovers, but they had their differences and separated. Clarissa going with the more conservative Richard Dalloway. And now Peter, still friends with Clarissa, comes over for a visit, and that's when the passage starts. And immediately, when it goes into, well, what happens to you, it goes directly to the point after all of this description of each other, examination. It goes straight on to the battle, as they describe, as Virginia Woolf describes it as. And she continues the visual, the metaphor, with horses pawing on the ground, their heads, the light shines on their flanks. Makes it look more, not necessarily that they're fighting, it's just that they're showing off. It's more of a flaunting of sort. And this is told by not necessarily by any person, it's more of a third person omniscient. That's part of Virginia Woolf's style. She'll usually go from multiple narrations. And within this, then it goes on to say, focuses on Peter and what he's thinking at the time. So when they're challenging each other in this conversational game, he starts to think of all the things that he can one-up over Clarissa by gathering his praise, his career at Oxford, his marriage, etc., and brings it all back into the scene through the exterior exclamation, millions of things. And he describes this feeling, this build-up, this like excitement through a very visual image, saying fright by the assembly of towers which were now charging this way, and giving him the feeling once frightening and extremely exhilarating of being rushed through the air on the shoulders of people he can no longer see. He raised his hands to his forehead. Then again, Miss Woolf, she likes to go back and forth between internal narration and the actual scene, the actual setting, what's actually happening. And continuing on, he goes on to say, I am in love. Not with her, of course, not with her, but to someone raised up in the dark, that so you could not touch her, but you must lay your garland down in the grass. This is to say that Clarissa can't judge this person, but she can judge Peter's love of this person. And that's why later he says, I put my garland down, now Clarissa can make of what she wants of it. And then the narration shifts over to what Clarissa is thinking at the time, which is quickly summed up in love, but she just goes on describing what she thinks of, not necessarily of love, of Peter at the time of his old age, and yet through all of this, she can still tell that he's in love. And not only is something happening to Peter during the time, something's happening to Clarissa as well, as you read onto the last paragraph, where she's actually becoming more passionate, more energized. And this can be told through the her cheeks coloring up, looking very pink, and the ego, which which Virginia Woolf says going on and on. She structures it like it's an actual person having a conversation with someone. Just keeps going on and on with no goal, like an ego would. And this passage overall shows the relationship between Peter and Clarissa, the new relationship, and displays a sort of, kind of a societal, kind of an escape from the humdrum that Clarissa's normally used to. That's all I have to say.
All right.